that you do exactly?
I work as a business intuitive, where I work with top athletes, top executives, politicians, and I work with them as an intuitive advisor on anything from top performance to strategies, mergers and acquisitions, hiring and firing. I work with them on all challenges that they may have in their businesses. I work with entrepreneurs, and everyone that I work with has in common that who we are as individuals, the energy that we transmit, is what makes or breaks our success. So that is what I help them with, to align their energies, help them with. And when I say align their energies, it is working with their energies in terms of what are they thinking, what are their choices, what are their actions, assisting them to bring the best of who they are into a capacity that they transmit an energy into the environment around them, into the entire stakeholder chain, everybody that they influence with what they do. And doing that, being aware of that energy work as well, makes them able to create results above and beyond traditional results that we have seen before.
And how do you actually do that?
There are two different ways I work with people. One is the clairvoyant advice, the intuitive advice that I bring to the table, where I tune in with my clairvoyant abilities to give them answers, to look at where the pitfalls for success, where the opportunities for success in their lives, how can they build what I call illuminated life excellence. It's a concept that I work with to assist individuals to be the very best of what they can be. And then 10 years ago, I pioneered a concept called energistic leadership, where I work with energistic leadership excellence, of how to bring energy awareness into business, even from the boardroom into executives, and ripple that into the company and into the entire stakeholder chain. So bringing more scientific angle to the energies that I've always seen around me, felt within me, being able to feel other people, being able to transmit an energy and influence energy. I teach that to people because once they become aware of their energy, they become aware of their incredible capacity to change things for the better. And once they do that, they're also changing the world with what they do. So combining intuition, energy with the skills people already have is just one of the most amazing tools to create incredible success. That is not only improving things for people within their result creation, but it's also changing the world for the better. Yeah, it's on. We still have the camera on.
So what sort of differences have you made with people? Have you got some examples?
I can give a couple of different examples, because with each individual, with each company, with each mission that I work with, it's very uniquely adapted to the unique case I'm working on. But in a sales example, for example, I was working with sales executives, and without them communicating with their teams, putting away the computers, phones, 1.5 days, we increased the sales results in the lowest performing group from 80% to 120%. And that was just in the scope of 1.5 day of becoming conscious of thoughts and their choices, and how they, with their energy transmitted into the world, how that could impact their teams. And with that, when we talk about energy, when we talk about quantum physics, it is proven that energy doesn't know distance. So if we have a thought, whatever we are focusing on is changed in the minute that we have the thought. So becoming aware of the fact that if we have teams in Japan and we have a certain thought, have a certain energy that we're transmitting to them, we can change, make it or break it for that team. In a situation where I work with a top athlete, he came to me as number 12 in the world, felt that he had stagnated, didn't feel that his progression towards his main goal to be number 1 in the world was happening. One of his sponsors is one of my financial clients that I had advised in investments. And he told me, said, listen, when I hear you talk, you have to go and talk to Christel. Try and work with her and see what will happen, because I'm sure she can help you. And he's number 2 in the world now. We're hoping soon to be number 1. And in that matter, it's all about, it's not all about, a part of his success, I believe, is having found his purpose, because he's on television all the time and millions of people watch him. So being the person that he is, having changed his thought pattern, his behavior, everything, is making him impacting millions of people around the world, changing their lives and their ways of thinking, taking responsibility and using his capacity to not only create results, but actually focusing as well on making a positive impact in the world around him. And what else? We have more personal story. That personal story touched me deeply when I worked with them. Still working with them as a family, but I worked with a father who was a business executive, and he came to me with, of course, business advice. And working with him, one day I was shown that his daughter was really sad, and he was sad about it. And it turned out that his 8-year-old daughter started, I think it was 1.5 years. She had been sad in school, not focused, coming home being sad, throwing sad tantrums, and they just didn't understand why. They couldn't find out what was the reason. And then having a session with her, working with her energies, working with the guidance I was being shown. Her grandmother had passed away 1.5 years earlier, and having a mother who was self-employed, and a father who was business executive, studying an MBA in the evening. She had never experienced that they were not present, because she was taken care of by her grandmother coming home from school. And suddenly she was faced with a mother looking into a computer screen, a father in his books, and she suddenly felt that she was not loved. So she didn't have that caregiving grandmother any longer. That in itself is a great grief for many young children. But then on top of that, misunderstanding, suddenly being home at the same time as her mother working, she just thought she was unloved. So having turned that around, having discussions with her, the family, they were so amazing. They both, the mother and the father, took 3 months off to travel with the girl. So they just as a family went much closer together and had a lot of talks, but also showing that their daughter mattered. And they all now, the mother got back with her company, father went back, and but they changed their ways, of course, and they were very observant of what happened, and were very communicative of I'm working now, or whatever they did was just change their ways. And the girl is now thriving, and the family is happy, and both the father and the mother is creating amazing results with each individual work that they do. So that was so heartwarming to see that, it was, we helped an entire family and a child to thrive. That was amazing.
So how would you describe clairvoyance then? What is that in your work, and how do you apply it?
Yeah, it's a very relevant question, and I can answer for myself, because around the planet, around the globe, people are using it so differently. Very different ethics, very different ways of communicating and applying their clairvoyant abilities. To me, it's tapping into the divine energies that are here present for us, where we're able to receive guidance from. So what I do is that I intuit tapping into those energies, that energy field that is available for all of us. That's even you have religions talking about it, you have quantum physicists talking about that light, we're able to, when we close our eyes, to tap into that energy. So that is how I work with it, very ethically, because the way I've chosen to work with it is to make sure that I'm the sharpest for my clients, And one of the ways to become sharp is to focus those energies and only use them when we're in a session. So that's one thing. The other thing is to be extremely aware of only tapping in when people have agreed on that it's a clairvoyant session. Because I think a lot of consultants out there are basically using some clairvoyance abilities, but maybe they're not even aware. And then they're using that to guide. But what actually is happening is it's like stealing keys in a bag, going home to people's home, unlocking the door, seeing what's there, going back, putting the key back, and the person subconsciously know that something is happening. But I believe that that is one of our most important values to have as intuitives, as myself, that is to protect people's privacy. And tap into only the energies that we're there to tap into.
So you're pregnant, congratulations.
Thank you.
What difference has that made?
Oh, being pregnant has meant that everything I do and the reason for why I do it has just become amplified. Because my life mission has always been to make this world a better place. When I pioneered the concept energetic leadership for 10 years ago, my main goal was to create a concept and an awareness of how we could create less suffering in the world of performance. And I wanted to show people that we can have better lives, we can use our intuition to create life rather than use our gut feeling and instinct to survive and destruct. Not being focused on how we can beat somebody, but how we can actually co-create positive results both for ourselves but also for the world we live in. And 3 years ago I went on my Treasure Change the World tour, as I called it, sold everything I had, took 1.5 years out of my calendar to just contribute and give away and not come back before I didn't have any more money and reboot my life. Knowing I've done it 10 years ago, I knew I could do that again. And just being on that journey of contributing, offering my services that I normally use for the elite, giving that away to people I met on the street, kids, homeless people. It could also be in Hollywood, it would be a movie producer that I sat next to in a cafe and suddenly started to converse with. It was just everybody on my path that I met and conversed with. And seeing how probably one of the most important things, one of the saddest things I found on my path was that very few people realize their capacity, their significance in this world, that they matter. No one, whoever it was, whether it was the CEO I met or whether it was the man on the street, they didn't realize that they mattered, that the energy, the thoughts they have, the way they live, that transmit an energy and that we change the world every second. So it's up to us whether it's positively or negatively. So being pregnant, I suddenly felt life creation from a very different source. I'm talking about life creation in my work, of how we think and how we choose and how we act, but suddenly it's within me, there's life creation, and I suddenly have this amazing new feeling of becoming a mother, looking at my partner, wanting the best life for him to be happy, so that when he's happy, I know that when both of us are happy, we can be the best possible parents for a child. And with that knowledge, it just became, I don't understand it. People that is allowing or ordering war, executives in companies that are creating an environment of severe politics and misbehaving towards the employees, or demanding the impossible of their employees so they get stressed and they feel miserable at work, down to people in families that allow stress, that allow their bad moods to affect their children. It just suffering, creation of suffering just become absolutely I can't understand it. I have come to being even more eager to bring good to this world, to bring awareness to this world, and I've become even more eager to help and assist my clients around the world even more so, because I know when I'm assisting my clients, it's a ripple effect that I give them the capacity to shine fully. I give them the capacity to create the best possible results while creating a better world, creating a positive impact. And that just, you know, it's an internal fire that's even bigger now that I'm putting a baby into this world, a child into this world. Because if I can remind people of their significance, of their capacity and their responsibility, I know that we will all co-create a better world.